throughout COVID, no one was having parties, no one was having events.
I thought the business was over.
Yeah.
That actually sees it shrink 80%.
Yeah.
This is Kirsty Chapman-Smith, a mother of 4 and an incredible entrepreneur. She was kind enough to invite me to her enormous warehouse where they stock and fulfill orders for party supplies all around Australia. After not wanting to return to full-time work and looking to make an extra bit of pocket money online, this inspiring story starts 16 years ago following the birth of her youngest son.
When he was born, I decided I even wanted to go back to work, and at the time I thought I could do something from home and maybe earn $50 at the end of the week or something like that. And I had been sort of just dabbling in selling second-hand stuff, kids, clothes that they'd grown out of, all that sort of stuff. And I would actually buy it from eBay US, and it would be the off-season. So it'd be their winter, it'd be our summer, so stuff was a lot cheaper. But it was stuff that you couldn't get here in the shops. So at the time, your Targets, your Kmarts didn't have Dora the Explorer license sort of stuff. So I'd bring it over just in a small way, and you would resell it on eBay. And it wasn't a big business idea. It was just how do you make a little bit of money sort of staying at home. Yeah. And one of them sent me some party supplies in a box, sort of thing, and it did really well. And I just had this idea. The other stuff wasn't starting to sell as well because your big box retailers have started to cotton onto the idea that licensed kids stuff was a really good thing to sell. So I sat down with my husband and I said to him, I've got this idea that we can develop a party supply website, and we can have an e-commerce that people would actually come online and they would buy stuff, and we could ship it out, sort of thing. And I want to give it a crack. I want to sell it on eBay but also have our own website. So that was when 16 years ago when Discount Party Supplies was born.
Yeah.
And it was all from home.
So you're like, okay, I'm going to start the business. Did you have a set amount of capital that you're prepared to invest?
Absolutely not. So it was really, look, it's maybe started with $1,000 or that type of thing. But whatever I made, I invested back. And there was at one particular time that I said to my husband, I want to do a larger order, and it was about $16,000. And he was like, geez, we could do it. I'm like, it'll be fine, that type of thing. And, the business could, maybe made 10 grand or whatever. That's like, okay, we're going to do this. And so, no, there was no, let's go and get capital invest, let's go get a loan, let's mortgage the house, nothing like that. It grew organically. That the more we established, the more we just invested back into stock. And so we had a really small stock range to start with. I mean, there's only so much you can fit in your house.
Yeah.
And so, but then as you moved out of the house, I've got a big warehouse. This is where we are now, our 4th premises. And so we had smaller and smaller premises, larger, but we had small premises, a medium, that type of thing. So as you grew, you just kept reinvesting. So then, yeah.
First year of, I guess, operation, how did you get to your first year? How did you start a website? How did you learn that whole process? Because 16 years ago, there would have been nothing online.
It came out, wasn't online.
A daunting process.
So it was a lot of learning, and I was happy to reach out to anybody. So back 16 years ago, there was a lot of forums online sort of thing, eBay forums, different things. And so anything that I'd sort of pick up on where I think, oh, that person sounds like they know what they're talking about, I was happy to reach out to them online and say, oh, look, you seem to be doing well on eBay or whatever. What are you doing? And they'd say, oh, there's this group, forum that you can join that's all about eBay sellers or whatever. And so I'd jump in on there and I'd connect maybe with someone on there that then, said, oh, well, I'm actually starting our own platform. And so the first platform that we were ever on was really just a homemade type of a website platform that a guy was developing from his home office type of thing, and I connected with a couple of other people that were on his platform, and together we kind of learnt what's HTML, how do we edit a photo, what are keywords, and what do we need to do for that, and how do we actually get the checkout to work. And what payment methods, all of those things. So you just continue to learn from other people and evolve that way.
Yeah. Do you remember your first customer on the website?
I do actually.
You do?
Absolutely, because she couldn't get through checkout. So she called. So we had the phone number, sort of thing, and she couldn't get through checkout. So she picked up the phone, and I had a piece of paper next to the phone. I'm like, right, what do you want? And I wrote down all the items, sort of thing, and she paid me by a credit card over the phone, which, these days that seems pretty normal. But 16 years ago in e-com is a long time ago. And it was like, wow, so...
At what point did you say this could be, a full-time job, or this is a bit more of a sustaining business that's gathering traction? How long?
When you start out, I was doing everything. I ordered the stock. I put the stock, onto the bookcases that I had in the lounge room. I, was doing things with the website. I was taking photos. I was writing all the descriptions and uploading the product. I was processing the orders. I was getting the orders off the shelf. The whole kit from where to go. Yeah. My neighbour, actually, the one that I took into the garage, so she'd come over. She had kids the same age and stuff like that, and she'd come over and I said to her, I don't have time just to sit and talk kids stuff and have a cup of coffee. You need to help me take the parcel. She's in Kalari over here.
Oh,
She's still there.
Incredible.
Yeah, she still works with us today. And then from there, a mum from school started with us, and she would help take photos. She's our customer service manager.
Oh my God.
It's in the office sort of thing. So
really cool.
she's still there as well. And then Carolyn, she roped in another lady that she knew that she'd worked in a bank for. She's still here. She's still here. They're all still here. So it's fantastic. So that's the point, I think, when you start delegating different things out or needing help and stuff. It's like, oh, I'm not being, if I can pay people, the business is earning enough to, be onto something. And it wasn't wildly profitable.
Yeah.
I mean, this was not a business that went from zero to millions of dollars overnight. Sort of, this is a 16-year overnight success, type of thing. So it's taken time, but when you do that and you're getting people in you realise, well, I'm paying people and it's still making a profit. And I never set out to make, millions of dollars. That's never been my, I need to build a business and I need to be rich and I need to be sitting on a super yacht and having the time of my life. I'm really proud of what we've built, sort of thing. And I'm really proud that it's been able to give other people jobs and that sort of stuff. So I think for me, what success looks like maybe, is different to other people. And it's absolutely fine, for people to set out and go, this is what I want out of life. I want to be retired by the time I'm 40 and, doing all that sort of stuff. But, it was just about continuing to realise those opportunities and then keep going.
Do you remember making your first million in the business? Was that
that was a milestone. That was a milestone. Yeah. The 100,000 was a milestone sort of thing. The first million was definitely a milestone sort of thing. And we still, husband and I celebrated and went, wow, we're just eating a bit, aren't we? This is just fantastic. Life couldn't get any better.
Yeah.
It's really, you sort of stop sometimes and you remember, oh my God, this started from that lounge room. And then you have those moments where you are really proud of what you've been able to achieve and create and that sort of stuff. And you celebrate the wins.
Yeah. Back to your staff. How many do you have? Because there's so many people running around. I can see there's.
So in total we have about 55.
Awesome.
The majority of people are out in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Keep packing and stuff like that. So we have around about high 30s, I suppose, out here in the warehouse. And the rest of the staff are in customer service, merchandising, marketing, have a buying team, HR and bookkeeping. We've got a software development, like I said, so the rest of the 20-odd people in there. Yeah.
So it's a really labour-intensive part of the business.
Yeah, I should have just sold CDs or, I don't know, whatever, just a single thing.
Yeah.
But, you think about, having the amount of SKUs that you've got, and you've got everything from a pinata to a glass jar to a packet of stickers to a, type of thing, and having to then pack that. It's not a particularly easy thing to do.
How many SKUs do you reckon you have?
So we've got about 16,000 in stock.
Wow. At what point did you move out of your house then?
About 2 years. 2 years after, we registered the business, we'd run out of space. I'd run out of Carolyn's garage, all that sort of stuff. And so there was a disused DVD/pizza shop not too far from our house. And we all had kids. So we were having to still drop them off at school, pick them up, be there for sport, whatever sort of thing. And so we stayed there in that place for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we moved to a bigger premises. And this one was over 1,000 square metres, which to us was like, this is going to do us for the rest of the business. It's going to be fantastic. We're never going to move out of here. It won't happen sort of thing. And we were there for 6 years. We had grown to the point that we had to put more processes in. So one of the things that we did when we were back home, we had no inventory processes. So if you had an order of Spider-Man stuff that you needed to pack, you need to remember where each of those items were. And that was pretty easy at home. You've got shelves of stuff and like most, eBay sellers and stuff from their garage and stuff, they might have tubs with labels or whatever, and they know where the stuff is. Then when we got to the 1,000 square metres, like we need to build off a cistern, right? This is getting us out of control to just have, these ladies remember where everything is. So we had to, in that space, really learn, how do we scale? And I'd had a really major health event for a couple of years where I was really unwell. And I at that time sort of was like in two minds where I really want to put this energy or stuff into it. But I went, yeah. Let's give it a go. Let's see, what we can do with it. Let's get some more people in place that can actually specialise in warehousing, in e-commerce, that type of stuff that might be able to give us a brief right way. So you always go and hire out people, hire people that are smarter than you or no more than you do. And then in 2018, we bought this place and moved into here. And the warehouse that you see in the background wasn't here. So it finished at this wall. Just here.
Okay.
Yeah, it finished there.
Okay.
So we knew when we moved in here that this wasn't going to be big enough for our growth plans, but we started off in here. We had a strategy in place of when to do the build. Was brought that forward by about a year because we outgrew it. And so we actually, built on to the back for about another 3,000 square metres. And we really thought then, we're good. We don't need any more room. We're filling it up fast.
God, like my tradie days.
Ever since the business started, it was, like I've had the input into how I wanted it to operate, I suppose. And so, I'm a pretty organised, sort of person. So that sort of flown through the business. I know a lot of warehouses you go into and it's just a bring a nightmare and a mess. But
it's a big thing for the business is the same day shipping, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. So that's something that we've had to scale up as we're growing. So from day one, speed of delivery was really important. So we're not, like you might buy something and look, speed of delivery is becoming more and more important over the years for everyone. It's the need it now, type of stuff. It's not like a pair of jeans that you can then wear it next week. It's like, I needed it, So speed of delivery is really important. So we've always had the 2 o'clock turnaround time. As we've grown, we've had to put systems and stuff in place to be able to, because when you've got 3 aisles, it's pretty easy to, and 100 products, compared to 16,000 in-stock products and everything at the moment, it's a lot harder to go, okay, well, how do we keep that promise? How do we improve efficiency and all of that sort of stuff? But we've managed to, which is why our own software devs and stuff like that, managed to put in process and stuff that people can still pick, pack and get it out same day.
Incredible.
You've got to put more people on it.
Definitely. It takes a lot of men.
You've got to put more people on it. But,
to get to this point of this incredible growth, have this massive warehouse, what were you doing? How were you getting customers? Where were they coming from?
Yep. So a couple of things that we've done throughout the business is, what are our core strengths? So being an online business, what can we offer that, is more convenient or something than mum hopping in the car, going to the shops and just buying her stuff at a Big W or whatever sort of thing. So range was really important to us. So if you can sit down at your computer and get everything you need, and then wanted speed of delivery to be a really important thing. And so we always dispatched, if you put an order in by 2 o'clock on any business, we'd always dispatch the order the same day. So we were really hot on inventory processes, because if you came to the website and bought 6 of something, you'd want to make sure that, when you went to pick it, there were 6 of them on the shelf, that we weren't out of stock. So that was something that we really tried to achieve and put a lot of processes around, that we didn't oversell inventory, we didn't do pre-orders and everything like that. You had the confidence that when you checked out, you were going to get what was in, on your basket, you're going to get in your parcel, not a parcel that you open up and you go, this is out of stock, this has been refunded, all of that sort of stuff. So we did that.
Where like, where were the customers coming from? Like, where did you start spending money on advertising?
So always has been based on population. So, even though we're based in Auburn, our, largest customer base is New South Wales and Victoria, goes by, population really. And so probably when we were at our, we were at home and then the second place, and by the third place, we were understood a bit more about AdWords, paying to get customers, not just having customers find you organically, but, you probably, this space is getting a bit more competitive, that type of stuff. We need to pay to get more customers. And how do we do that well? And, like anything in business, you had to learn, analytics and AdWords and those type of things. And so we were a fairly early adopter. There was a few other places out there, but we're a fairly early adopter of, Google AdWords for party supplies and that sort of stuff, and learned a lot over time about how we target, who we target, who is our demographic, what are our main customer base. You need to learn lots of that sort of stuff. No point just shooting stuff and throwing money out there. No point me targeting a 65-year-old male, sort of thing. So, you've got to understand who's buying the stuff.
And were you doing that internally, or is it like we need to go and find a consultant?
We've worked with lots of, vendors over the time. We still actually use a lot of third-party vendors for bits and pieces that we do. We don't do, everything in-house. And then you build up, I think, relationships with those people and trust, and, that they understand that they do have your best business interests at heart to want to actually do, good for your business.
Yeah. I guess, like, speaking about the Google part of it, it's such a big part of, your advertising budget and the business. Has it ever been something you considered bringing in-house, or do you like?
Not at the moment. It's probably becoming more relevant. At the moment with, Google being able to really just handle AdWords itself and that type of thing. It will, predict a budget and all of those type of things without needing someone tweaking the campaigns as much. But we've worked with a company for a long time that, we've found being really good, so that we haven't thought that we could do a better job in-house ourselves.
I guess talking about COVID, no one was having parties, no one was having events. Was that
I thought the business was over.
Yeah. Have you had any other points along the journey where you thought it was all gonna come crumbling down?
COVID was the one really that, there was businesses that absolutely boomed during COVID, like you said, when the Prime Minister comes on the telly and says, I don't want anyone to gather, you all have to go home, you're all going to be locked in your houses, you're not going to have any, where to celebrate, do anything. And what does that do for a party? That actually sees it shrink 80% in a couple overnight. So I could tell you the date, it's such sort of thing in March 2020 when it just all was like the bottom's fallen out of that. And I mean, we're through it now and stuff, but at the time, if you remember, nobody knew how long it was going to last. There was no, this is what's going to happen in a month, in 6 months, and and it was like, what's going to happen to the world? Is this going to be like this for forever or whatever? And so we'd moved in here. So we moved in here in late 2018. COVID hit in early 2020, and we were like, shit. And so, we sort of waited it out for a few weeks as such. But if you're going to, have a viable business, you've also got to keep costs down. You've got to know that. You've got to react to that. You've got to react to when things aren't going well. So my husband and I sat down with a budget and we just cut everything out of it. Everything, like the cleaner. I said, I'll clean the toilets. I don't care. We need to keep this running for as long as we can in case COVID goes away or, that type of thing, because we've built something that was pretty amazing. And we don't want to see it just, pack up sort of thing. So how long can they sustain? How many people on the revenue that we got, the 80% less revenue that we were getting sort of thing. And we sort of worked that out, but right, we can't sustain the people that we've had. And so we had a pretty frank conversation with the group and sort of said, we're not going to be able to do this. So our casuals all went immediately, and we sort of said, when there's work, we'll have you back, but, there isn't anything for the casuals. And then we sort of had plans in place to reduce hours for the majority of the staff that were here, and we were doing, had all those plans in place, and people were we had some amazing people, like really, really, that loved the business, loved their co-workers and stuff like that, that said, I'll work, at 70% pay. But if that'll help save someone else's job. I'll work at 60% pay. And I was like, I don't know when I can, get you back up to 100%. It's okay. We'll work it out together. We'll make it work. That type of thing.
Testament to the culture that you've built.
Yeah, and people, when stuff like that happens, and I'm sure lots of different businesses experienced it, and families within themselves and all that sort of stuff, they rally together. And look, it's I suppose I just say a testament that we had the great foundation there, people to do that. But people are amazing when you ask something of them generally, and they can see that you're doing everything that you can to make it viable for them. And they said, we want to be here still when you come out the other side. In the months to follow, you had the opposite happen. You had the e-commerce boom. Everyone was at home, and so that they were shopping online. And because we sell such a vast array of stock, and kids still have birthdays, they might be locked up in their house as such, but they were still having birthdays, and they might not have 30 kids over. But we started to see an uptick in a way that we weren't ready for as such. So it actually turned around, and we were getting more. So they were, maybe not as big, certainly not the corporate orders, those type of things, the big events, because you couldn't have those type of things. But online shopping really had the COVID boom, and so that was stores right. Oh my gosh! So we went, from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, and that's what made us sort of go, we need to get more space here, sort of thing. And it really fueled a heck of a lot of growth for us.
Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
From a operational point of view, have you ever considered moving to a 3PL, and why do you ship? I mean, obviously from Adelaide, but if your biggest markets on the eastern seaboard, has that ever been a consideration?
We've certainly considered it.
Yeah.
Because of the complexity of the stock, no one's going to, a 3PL is not going to be able to do it better than we can.
Yeah.
No one's going to be able to turn around orders the same day like we promise that we can, or we do, sort of thing. And then the 3PL is the amount of inventory, the charges.
I've been to many 3PLs where we've had our stock, and this looks like the whole 3PL, not just.
That's right. So you take up
business.
a portion of it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I would take up the whole thing. And they charge based on SKU count and volume and all of that sort of stuff. So it just wouldn't just wouldn't work.
So mum of four. Do you have people that come to you for advice, or what advice could you give to mothers out there even today's space that want to get into e-commerce or start their own business, how to manage?
I would say initially, if you're not prepared to put in time, energy, upskill yourself in your knowledge, don't bother. If you're expecting to, I think I can have a business and I can work 1 hour a day, 4 days a week, you think it's going to be massive and stuff like that. I don't think that's reality, no matter what you're doing, whether you're an influencer, whether you're, whatever business that you start, you've got to put some time and energy into it, sort of thing. So, you've got some investment to do as well. But having said that, there's no better time to learn. There's a lot of information out there that you can learn from people that have done it before, get advice. I still have mentors and advisors and stuff like that I lean on in business. And I still network with a lot of e-com businesses. Ask it, what are you doing? Who are you using for this? What do you do for that, sort of thing, to learn from people. So I would find people that are doing things and, can I buy you a coffee? Would you mind if I took an hour every time? And start learning and understanding. Yeah.